It's always funny when you see a defection get announced because a defection, I would say, is only really effective if it is an actual sitting MP. The Green Party did this recently, where Zach Palancy was hyping up this whole idea that there were all these Labour MPs about to cross the floor, and suddenly there would be this Green Party bloc sitting there opposing Keir Starmer. And the reality was that it was a former Labour MP, not even sitting in Parliament. Can anyone even remember his name now? No, because it just, quite frankly, was just not effective unless you actually have a sitting MP or at least some form of big name who crosses the floor, who brings with him a lot of weight and heft as well from the other side. Defections can sometimes be not as effective as people make them out to be. You see this in a lot of these local areas where we've been covering a lot of this local stuff. A lot of these people who defected from previously the local conservative parties over to the local reform parties were not that big, heavy hitters. These were the people who might have been, councillors, but they were never big councillors. They never got to like the cabinet positions or anything like that. So they felt frustrated and they left because they, as they saw it, weren't getting their just rewards. We've seen that with Dan Harrison and how his administration is playing out in Leicestershire. You can see why he never got to the top in that area, why the Conservatives never let him lead, because he wasn't that good as he claimed to be. And now Reform have had more Tory MPs join them. And we've covered this before, that there's been this friction between the two sides of what I dubbed the true reformers, the people who were there first, the people who jumped ship there first, versus now those who are jumping ship. And guess what? All these people who are jumping ship, they're not exactly big Tory names. In fact, many of these names are considered to be quite bad. They don't really have that good a track record when they were in the Tory party. They never really held any major offices. Overall, as we'll see in a moment, these three defections, should Farage really be celebrating these defections? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't seem to be that good where you were attracting these people. And as remember, there is that friction that we're talking about. Those true blue people, they're now seeing all these failure Tories join them, and they're now worried that they're just becoming the new Tory party in failure as well. So we'll see how this ultimately develops, but trust me, this is not a good sign for a potential future party, because these people, all they want is to get back into power. Some of them have done so deliberately because they think that's their quickest way back into Westminster. So before we do this, we go on to this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button down below. There are, of course, the Patreon page, the Buy Me a Coffee link, where you can, well, buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, all that good stuff down below. So thank you very much to everyone who does help and support the channel that way. So let's crack on then into this defection news, with now three former Tory MPs defecting to Farage's party. So let's see who's made the jump. So three former Conservative MPs have now defected to Reform, a source in Nigel Party's now has confirmed. So who's jumped? Jonathan Gillis. Wow. What a name synonymous with failure of the previous Conservative government on that one. Nici, who served as MP for Grimsby, and of course the former Bolton West MP Chris Green, all who have, quote, joined, quote, on their own accord online. A Reform Party source has now confirmed to PA. Generally, if you follow British politics quite seriously, you will probably remember Jonathan Gillis probably being one of the most biggest embarrassments out there. He was never really considered to be that good an MP. He was just loud. and all over a bit of a bad MP by all regards. The other two, unless you are like a real follower of like the Westminster, I guarantee you would not know who these two other MPs are. I guarantee you. And the real story is Gillis has jumped. And the reason why Gillis is even worse for him is that there is a video of him on a BBC program saying that he will never join Reform UK, that he will never be in Nigel Farage's party, that he considers Nigel Farage, not a true conservative, that he doesn't like Nigel Farage, and yet now here he is defecting to Reform UK. That just goes to pour more fuel on the very, very bright bonfire that shows you Gillis is not good. He is not good at politics. He is one of those people who thinks he's good at politics, but really, really is not. He is terrible when it comes to this. So Gillis is, of course, the former Conservative Deputy Party Chairman, was briefly the Education Minister. He's currently, of course, the Mayor of Kidsgrove. I think that's how you say it. He told the BBC that he'd been a member of the party for over 18 years, but believes is now, quote, lost touch with the people it was meant to serve. Well, it's been doing that for quite a lot longer. He's just adopting the language now of reform. He said, from failing now to control both legal and illegal migration, to pursue, of course, a net zero agenda that is now seeing the rise of household energy bills and put jobs in Stoke-on-Trent on the world's famous ceramics sector now at risk. The Conservative Party has now understandably now lost the trust of the British people. Mr. Gillis said his statement now to the broadcaster. And that, to me, comes across as someone who he always was. Gillis was always a... he was a chancer. The only reason he's jumped ship is he wants to get back into Parliament. So he thinks the best way for him to do that is via reform, which is insane. Gillis is not the smartest political operator in the book. There is no one out there who is like going, oh my God, Jonathan Gillis has joined the Reform UK. The Conservatives are done for. No one is out there. No one is out there chomping at the bit saying that, oh, yes, Gillis has done that. Aren't we all to be afraid now that, Gillis is part of Reform UK? Oh, we're done for now. No, Gillis always was and considered to be a bit of a laughingstock. He never did anything really that good. He was never all that successful. And there were probably a lot of people in the Conservative Party going, well, at least we don't have to worry about him anymore. I can guarantee you that. But make no mistake, once again, you get these three defections. Why are they seeking out these people? Well, because if they do win some seats, then they want some people who have been, actual MPs to, dare I say it, do the job of an MP. And why? This is the exact same strategy they pursued at a local level. They poach these, quote, conservative talents, again, talents in huge quotation marks. And then if they do get in, as we've seen, they should, quote, should be doing a good job. But as you've seen, these people were not good. They considered themselves and thought themselves to be, oh, aren't they amazing, wonderful, people? If only we were listened to, the Conservative Party would be in a great spot. But no, they weren't. They weren't that talented. They weren't that good. They weren't that good at politics or politicians either, or even conservatives or, councillors. Full stop. So what reform is essentially filling up for is, as we have seen at these councils, a recipe for failure. Because if you are accepting someone like Jonathan Gillis, what does that really say about your standards about people you allow into your party and to allow potentially to run for your party as well? Because I can guarantee you now, I can almost guarantee it, Gillis will be standing as an MP or will be an MP candidate at the next general election. And why? Because he's jumped ship. Gillis, it always has been nothing more than political chancer, and he sees jumping to reform as probably his best way to get back into Westminster. So let me know, of course, what you think down below. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.